Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to create a local user account that's going to be used by Nessus to scan our local system. So to get started, we're going to go to the Start menu. We're going to type in Account MGMT for Computer Management. Select Computer Management. We'll go down to Local Users and Groups. Select Users, right-click, and create a new user account. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to name our scanning account Nessus-Scan. Give the account a password. And we're going to make sure that this box is unchecked. So we do not want the user to have to change their password at the next login. Select Create, and there's our account. So the next thing that we need to do here is assign this account administrative privileges on the system. So we'll double click the account, and under Member Of, we'll add this account to the local administrators group on the system. Hit Apply, and our Nessus Scan account is officially created. All right, now that we have our scanning account created, we're going to need to add those credentials to a scan job. So within Nessus, we're going to go to a new scan, and we'll just use the basic network scan template that comes with the Nessus application. We'll name the scan job. We'll put in our targets down here. This demonstration, we're going to be scanning the local system, so we'll enter localhost in there. And we'll shift over to the Credentials tab. You can see here that we have SSH credential set or Windows credential set. This is the Windows system, so we'll click on Windows, and we're just going to be using the password authentication method. Under Username, we'll enter our scanning account, enter the password that we set in the previous step. Under Global Credential Settings, we're going to leave Never Send Credentials in the clear and do not use NTLM version 1 authentication checked. We're also going to check Start the remote registry service during the scan, enable administrative shares during the scan, and start the server service during the scan. And we'll go ahead and save that. Now, before we launch our scan, there are a few additional prerequisites that we need to make sure that we satisfy. The first couple of items are going to be adjusted within the local group policy editor. So I'm going to open up gpedit.msc on my local system. That will bring up the local group policy editor. I'm going to go under Administrative Templates, MS Security Guide, and the setting that I want to locate and adjust is going to be this Apply UAC Restrictions to Local Accounts on Network Logons. You can see here that it's enabled. In order for Nessus to successfully scan a system with a local account, this setting will have to be in a disabled state. So I'm going to set this into disabled, apply it, and hit OK. The next setting that we're going to adjust is the Deny Access to this computer from the network user rights assignment. That's located under Windows Settings, Security Settings, Local Policies, User Rights Assignment. And again, we're looking for the Deny Access to this computer from the network user rights assignment. And here it is. Within this user rights assignment, you can see that local account is included. We're going to need to remove that principal from the user rights assignment so that we can successfully scan the system. And this needs to be done whether or not you're scanning the local system or a remote system. We're going to go ahead and apply that and hit OK. Next, we'll need to make sure that administrative shares are enabled on the system. To verify, we'll open up PowerShell and we'll run the command netshare. You can see here that $$ and admin $ are missing from my system, and that's because I've disabled them for the purposes of this demonstration. So to re-enable those shares, we'll open up Registry using regedit. We'll go to HKey Local Machine, System, Current Control Set, Services, and we'll locate Landman Server, and then locate Parameters. So you can see here that Auto Share WKS is set to 0. This needs to either be deleted or set to 1. I'm going to simply delete the key and reboot my system. All right, welcome back, everyone. My system's finished rebooting, so let's verify that administrative shares have been re-enabled. To do that, we'll go ahead and open PowerShell. Again, we'll run the net share command, and there they are. Excellent. Okay, the next thing that we need to check is the remote registry service. So in order for Nessus to successfully execute all of its checks, the remote registry service has to be in either an automatic or manual state. To check that, we'll open up services.msc. We'll locate the remote registry service. Here it is. And you can see that on my system, the startup type is set to disable. We'll have to fix that. So we'll set the startup type to manual and hit apply. Now that we've satisfied all of our prerequisites, we're finally ready to run a scan. To do that, we'll navigate back to the Nessus web interface. We'll go all the way to the right, and we'll hit on the little play button to launch the scan. As you can see, the scan is completed on my system. Just a heads up, it took about 20 minutes to complete there, so just be patient with it as it runs. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to look into the scan results to make sure that all published tests that were applicable to my local system fired on my local system. So to do that, we'll go ahead and click the scan. We'll shift over to the vulnerabilities tab here, and we're going to apply a filter. The filter that we're going to apply is going to be plugin ID. We're going to do contains, and we're going to look for two individual plugins that are going to give us a high degree of confidence that the scan ran without any issues. So the two plugins that I'm going to look for here are 110095 and 117887. We'll go ahead and apply that filter, and you can see here that both plugins exist on my system. To me, this means that the scan ran without issue, and we can be confident that we have full visibility into the system. And that wraps up today's demonstration. I want to thank everybody for joining, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you all.